Welcome to the American Hard Enduro podcast presented by Loco Bike Shop. Today, I'm joined by Redbull KTM factory racing mechanic Nigel Parker. Nigel, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing? Just got back from the race last night, so just a little sleepy this morning, but we're all good.
All right, so this is take two. We did the first one. We talked about some stuff we might have not should have talked about. So we're going to do it again and leave that part out, but it actually works out. So today's Monday, January 26th, the first round of the U.S. Hard Enduro, or I guess the National Hard Enduro Series is over with, man. Congratulations to you and Trystan. Looks like you got it done.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good race. Trystan, it was a dominant win pretty. Trystan led from start to finish, gapped the guys at one point, and I think finished, 5-6 minutes ahead of everyone. So pretty good to do at King of Motos for sure. At a fast race, to have that big of a lead is pretty sweet.
Well, it was really cool. So it's obviously part of the whole King of Hammers event. They've got live coverage, drone. They've got live announcing. So I watched a lot of it on YouTube, and it was pretty cool to see them coming through. They were a little confused. Like, I guess they did 5 laps, like 2 long laps, 3 short laps.
Yep.
And I guess I turned it on late. I think Trystan had just finished lap 1, and Cody apparently had been with him, but I guess it turns out he broke a foot peg bracket off, right?
Yeah, I guess Trystan said him and Cody were going up one of the canyons, like, Trystan said Cody was like right on him the whole time. Then Trystan gets to the top, I guess the saddle or something they call, and Trystan looks back and there's no Cody, and he's like, he thought someone crashed because he's like, for sure Cody would still be with me here. But yeah, I think Cody sheared not the whole bracket off, I guess just pretty much where the foot peg sits, like the bolts and everything were still in it, but the foot peg, everything gone. So he rode the rest of that lap just getting passed by everyone, just staying on a little nub.
Well, and I guess, I mean, in a good way, it stinks he broke his foot peg, but at least with the Yamaha, it's 3 bolts. And so he got one and was able to put it back on and keep going. So at least
the only thing that was a bummer is like we're at Chocolate Mountain or Chocolate Thunder or whatever.
Yeah, you've been at Chocolate Mountain too much lately.
Too many chocolate. But we're all the way across the desert from our usual pits. So I think like Kip, Cody's dad, and his mechanic had to race across the desert, go steal one off the other bike that's all the way at the Redbull semi, come all the way back across the desert to give Cody the part so he could fix it. So Cody was sat there in the sand for a little bit, just making sand castles, just waiting.
Did he find a way to radio ahead, or did he get there, then they had to run and get it?
I think they radioed ahead, I'm pretty sure, because they did it pretty quick. So I think someone radioed ahead for someone to go get it.
Well, and back before, obviously, I think you weren't Trystan's mechanic. He did that at Tough Like Roar, and somehow I think he got both of the foot pegs. So he somehow finished and still won with nubs on there, which I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. I mean, Trystan, I think it was pretty fast paced yesterday, but also there's lots of rubble and everything to break parts and stuff. So Trystan also on lap 1 betting his shifter. So we get a call saying that Trystan needs a shifter. So we're like, all right, here we go. So I gave him like impact and all that. And obviously he has to do all the bike work, but I guess someone doesn't want Trystan to win. Someone tried protesting us saying that I did the bike work for him, but luckily our suspension guy Damon was with us and filmed the whole thing. So then we showed the steward people and all that. They're like, no, you're all good.
Well, it was funny because I just happened to turn the live feed on then, and he came in and it looked like he was just looking down there. And then I saw on Instagram, I think you posted that video this morning. You handed him an impact. So I was confused. At most U.S. hard enduros that I've been to, you guys can help do bike work if it's in the pits, not out on the trail, but in the pits. So what's different?
I think King of Motos is the only one. I don't know. Every hard enduro seems to be a little bit different with pit rules. I don't know why it has to be so confusing. I feel like we could just do one rule for all of them, but King Motos is one of the only ones I think that we can't even be in the fuel area. Like it's all fenced off. We can hand them everything, but we can't work on the motorcycle at all. Like we can't assist them at all, but we can hand them everything. I guess it's kind of cool, but I don't think it really helps that much. Like, maybe if there's like a really big break, then obviously I could probably do it quicker than Trystan. Yeah. But something like a shifter or lever or something like that, he's going to do, I don't know, maybe a few seconds slower, maybe faster, who knows, in the moment. So it's really not I don't know. There's no advantage really, or even him fueling instead of me. There's not much advantage there. So I feel like we could probably just keep the rules the same for all of them, but I don't know.
I thought, like I said, I thought that was odd. And then I heard his interview saying he got the shifter one spot high.
Yeah.
And on the new bikes, if you get it one spot, and I think I run it one high anyway, but if you get it higher than that, it'll hit the chain or the countershaft sprocket and won't let you upshift. So I was worried that it got too high, but obviously he said he just got used to it.
No, it was just one spline high, and he even asked me, he's like, "Is that good?" And obviously, I don't want him sitting in the pits for so long, so I just told him, like, "Yeah, you're good. You're fine.
Just go, yeah.
Higher is better than lower for sure."
Oh, I 100% agree. Like I said, I like mine up there just so I don't have to get my foot down and then get it ripped off sometimes. So.
Yeah. Once he put it higher, I was like, "Oh, you're fine. Just go."
Well, and so on the broadcast, they were talking about, so they did again 2 long laps, 3 short laps, and then they had a final up and down right there at Chocolate Thunder. It looked pretty bad on video, but of course, video doesn't do it any justice. And all the guys did it pretty good. Was there anything crazy on that last little up and down?
Nothing really. I think last year's was harder, the uphill. Okay. So they came down, after they did the up, they came down what they went up last year. I think that was techier. Like that one's pretty tricky and chunky, pretty high risk too, if I'm being honest. This one wasn't as bad. It was tricky, but like you said, they all did it pretty easy. I think a lot of the A's as well did it as well. Yeah. So I don't know. They probably could have made it hard. Like Trystan said, he wants like 4 or 5 of those. Like he wants to, I guess it's called an X loop or whatever,
Yeah. Well, and I think they were talking on the broadcast, and maybe Trystan brought it up that like if Justin, I think the promoter who laid it out, said he could ride it. And I'm to the point now where if I see something and I think I can do it, it's not hard enough for the top guys.
Yeah.
I mean, at my level, if I even think it's possible, then I'm like, it needs to be harder for them.
Yeah, I feel like for the pros, maybe do it something like just pros or something like that. Make them do at least that bit every lap or something, because that could change a lot. There was
the carnage on the downhill. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think that was a frustration where there's like that. I guess that's what could happen if Ryder would have been closer or anybody would have been closer.
Yeah, and I feel like on the downhill, it's not as good. Like there's not, you can't make many passes on a downhill, but on uphill, if there's multiple lines, that would have been really cool, that full battle.
Well, and I saw Ryder struggle a little bit. I didn't see, they cut out when Trystan was going up. They didn't catch him much going up it, but they watched Ryder the whole time. And he struggled at a couple little bits, but it's like he just needed a little different angle on stuff.
Trystan, he said he was pretty smoked at the end there. So he said he had a couple lines that he wanted to do, but he gets there and he's like, "Oh, I don't got those." So he did it the simplest, most tired way. So he did it pretty easy, just slow and steady the whole way up. I think Ryder maybe got a little offline one spot, fell at one point, then I think made it up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was, I think 6 minutes. So, I mean, it wasn't a huge, God, there was one race, I think Trystan won by 30 minutes. So, wasn't too huge of a lead.
No.
So, what else? Any other good stuff come out of the weekend? Give me a recap from your perspective. Obviously, it's the best weekend possible. You guys won, but any other, I don't want to say drama, but any other stuff going on? I didn't even hear you guys got protested. So, that's news right there.
Yeah, honestly, that was the main thing. Like for Trystan, he's usually – once they get to that level, they, him, Manny, Billy, all those guys, they ride the bike so good. The bikes usually come out of the race pretty clean. Like, he didn't even dent the header pipe yesterday.
Wow.
But like, we've never changed a part during a race at all. So
he said he never got a shifter before.
Yeah, he said he felt a little stupid for doing the shifter. He's like, I don't bend shifters.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I know. No, that was pretty. He was super nervous for the Saturday race because this qualifier, kind of for the first time ever, was like pretty important. They did rows of 5, 1 minute apart for Sunday's race. No corrected time.
Okay, so that was the question I had. So then that was you needed to be top 5 then for sure.
So that was kind of the first time that the qualifiers actually, kind of mattered. Usually, they do rows of 10 or 15, whatever. So you can kind of, it's harder, or you can make up for a bad start. But in this one, since it's a GPS race, if you're in those back rows, I'm not saying you're screwed, but you have definitely less of a chance of winning or catching the leaders. So like right before, he had the classic pre-race nerves, like, clutch feels weird, or I think I want a different rear bib, and this is like 5 minutes before we're supposed to go, so we're swapped a couple different things, but he ended up winning. Actually, I think him and Cody pretty much tied.
Yeah.
We rewatched the videos, and Trystan took a different line on the downhill than Cody did, but Cody didn't walk the whole. He didn't walk the whole course. Trystan walked the whole thing. So I think if Cody had walked the whole thing, even Trystan said like Cody probably would have won it.
Yeah, that's great. That was $1,000. I don't know how long it was, but it made him an extra $1,000 for walking that whole thing. Which again, Tristan's known to walk almost everything. So I guess it pays off.
It pays off, for sure.
Yeah. Or when you get old, like Cody and I, it'll be all right. So
it'll buff out.
I thought that was interesting that they did rows of 5, which I think was good because man, it could be. There's quite a bit of bottleneck even with the pro guys once you get into that first Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah, they did. I don't know when they switched, but they did rows of 5, I think, for pros and A's, I guess. And then after the A's, then it went to, I think, 15 or something like that. That's where the corners started in the bottom.
I was going to say, I watched some of the amateurs. I think Endurotainment's amateur videos out. So I watched it last night. And, oh, man, it was quite a bit. So other than that final little up and down, Trystan say anything was gnarly out there?
Not really. I think they added in a new canyon for lap 3, 4, 5. I don't know what it's called, but that one looked pretty chunky. But I think after they rode it once, I think Trystan, they didn't say anything about it. So I don't think anything was too tricky for those guys out there. It was just, since they know the course so well, they're able just to moto it. Because I think a lot of the course was the same as 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure. Because Trystan all Friday, Saturday was actually watching race footage from 2 years ago with his Onyx map right next to the computer, and he was just tracking the whole race. And he was like, "Oh, yep, there's that. I'm gonna make this turn there and all that." So that was pretty cool. So I don't think he actually had a GPS that much at all. So that was another bit that maybe made it a little bit easier. But Trystan said it was actually pretty fun because he said it was pretty old school racing at that point. Like him and Cody were just full bore going across the desert because they both knew where to go. It was pretty cool.
Well, so did you hear Cody's thoughts on the 4-stroke? Other than obviously breaking a foot peg off, kind of slowed him down, but
he loved it.
Anything about it? Did he?
Yeah, he loved it. Honestly, he looks really good on it. I'm sure. Actually, I guess I'm not sure how they put a second fan on for Hawaii, so maybe it won't overheat or something like that. But that's the only thing I could see. But other than that, even Trystan, we were talking about it, and even he said the 4-stroke would maybe be better almost everywhere if it didn't overheat. The 4-stroke has such good bottom end like torque, and you can lug them still. So, put a heavy flywheel or whatever you need to do on there. But I think Cody's going to do good on it. As long as it doesn't overheat on him or drain the battery or something like that, I think he's all good.
Well, that's what it'll be interesting, because I would think out west in the desert, it wouldn't make as big a difference. When you get east and it's slick and, every bit of traction makes is important. That's when it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Like, I bet the 4-stroke for King of Motos, I bet that's almost like the perfect bike, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
I bet if we had 350, I'm like unbeatable.
Maybe next year that'll just make your job a little harder, like we talked about. You gotta switch back between Endurocross 2-strokes and 4-strokes.
Yep.
All right, so congratulations on the weekend. Let's get into your history a little bit. The whole reason we decided to do this is Trystan switched from the PDS bike over to linkage, so we'll talk about that a little later on. But real quick, you've been with Trystan for how long now?
I guess this will like year 2, pretty much. I started in the fall of 24. Yeah, the fall of 24, and we did Endurocross with him. I was with Will the whole year, so they just switched me to Trystan. So this will be going into year 2 with hard enduro for Trystan. Not much has changed other than obviously bike, but excited to do another year.
Yeah. Well, and I guess let's back on up. Like your history, I did a little deep dive into your Instagram, a whole lot of trials. So tell me about where you grew up and how you even got into 2 wheels to begin with.
Yeah. So I grew up Denver, Colorado. I'm a Colorado boy. My dad, he's from England. His whole family's from England. He grew up riding trials growing up. He was never like top dog or anything. He just loved the sport of trials. So like the only way they could keep me and my buddy Oliver like as babies from crying or whatever. They just sit us in front of the TV, in front of the trials TV videos. We just watch trials instead of like, some, animated thing or whatever. So I just fell in love with the sport. I did other sports growing up, but trials was the one thing that like stuck with me. Like I loved, it's like the coolest sport to me. They're the things you can do on a motorcycle with a trials bike is, ridiculous. And it's
so hard.
Yeah.
And when you're good at it, you make it look good, but getting that good is so hard.
Yeah. And trials doesn't get the, I feel like it doesn't get the publicity, any of that it deserves. Anyone who tries to ride a trials bike, they're like, holy shit, this is hard. Like not anyone can ride a trials bike good,
Well, that's what I've done some local events, and I got beat not on the obstacles, just on the turns to get to the obstacles. And the guy was twice my age, and the bike was older than me that he beat me on. We cleaned as many sections, but he got some points on turns. So it's just there's so many little nuances to it that makes you a better all-around rider. Yeah,
so I rode my whole life from, as little as you can put a kid on a bike to, current. But then pretty much till 2019, I rode competitively. I made it up to the expert level in nationals, but still really, I wasn't that good. Like I don't know, I hadn't really clicked yet. And then I was really good buddies with Josh Roper. He was riding pro at that time. Okay. And he was kind of like, he was just about to make that next step. And I was like, you know what, I'm going nowhere in trials here. I'm not going to be making money. I was like, let me just hang it up. I really liked the technical side of it. I loved working on bikes, but I also loved like, looking at the section and telling them like I can see the little things really well. So I started minding for him. A minder's like, dude, he's a mechanic, also follows him around the loop, catches the bike for him. If it breaks on the loop during the event, I get to fix it. Pretty much like a camel, pretty much. I carry everything, just following around.
Well, because that's what obviously, so I've seen minders and like they're like a spotter, obviously, in a bad section. They also give them advice on what to do. So are most minders also mechanics, like you said?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. That's one thing I never even thought of before.
Yeah. I mean, like a good minder is like a mechanic too, who can work on the bike, but not always because, a lot of the time maybe they're just a good buddy who, knows how to work on a bike, but they're not a mechanic or anything, but at least they can help with it. But I feel like that's where Josh and I worked really well because once I started working full-time with him from 2019 till current, but to like 23, 24 really, doing full-time, he was able to just focus purely on riding. And then I was working on the bikes as, like a professional rider is supposed to be, Their one job was just supposed to be riding. My job was supposed to be working on the bike. So worked really well, did that. And then...
real quick, how much maintenance goes into a trials bike? Like, obviously, I know big bikes, but trials bike, I mean, you talking top end, bushings, bearings, like what are you really working on?
Honestly, really not much. The biggest thing on a trials bike is the clutch. If you have a good clutch setup, like you almost don't touch it. Like you drain your oil and stuff when you want, but it's not like a dirt bike. You need to be taking your clutch apart all the time. Like Josh and Pat, like their whole national seasons, almost their whole bikes, like the whole year, they won't even change the clutch, like at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Go a whole year. A season, even as hard as they are.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Josh and I, like all our years, we never even changed the clutch. Like sometimes we'd check it out, like take it out, just make sure we're still in spec and everything. Mm-hmm. But the moment you take it out, put it back in, it's going to feel just a little bit different. And with trials at their pro level, even that teeny little bit, it's going to feel wrong, Okay. But like trials bikes, honestly, they're the simplest bike. Like, I'm a mechanic, but once you work on stuff and you have your own stuff, the last thing you want to do after going riding is working on your own stuff.
Oh,
it's like, so my bike at home, like, honestly, I neglect it pretty hard. Like
it's usually the way it works.
I always say kick down door 3. First door, go ride or work on it. Just door 3 or just head out again.
Yeah, we're going.
Change the filter every now and then, drain your oil when you're supposed to. Other than that, really, if you're kind to it and don't ride it like a moto bike or a dirt bike, I feel like that's where most people go wrong. At some point, they just use it as a trail bike or something, and they're fun on the trail, but it's not what they're meant to do. They overheat. Then you start having weird problems. So if you just ride trials on it, you have to do so little to the things. It's amazing.
All right. So then you started traveling around pretty much as his mechanic, let him be the professional rider.
Yep. Yeah. So we traveled. We did World Championships. We did Trials as Nations from 2019 on. So that's like the 6 days just for trials for Team USA. We did all those. We did the full national circuit every single year, club events, local events, all that. I rode all the local events and stuff. And what's funny is once I started minding for Josh, like I would ride while he's warming up. I'd ride around too. I actually ended up getting like way better at trials. Like I improved like an insane amount, which is funny because I didn't compete anymore. But like I did a few locals and they'd be easy. The thing by one claim to fame is like Josh and I did a local trial in Arizona. Like it was pretty tricky, but me and Josh were both clean going into like the last 2 sections. We both rode pro, and I took one dab. Josh beat me by like 1 point, but like, I almost got him.
What do you attribute getting so much better? Just watching him so much, watching everyone else, really paying attention to like the details.
I think just watching. My whole life riding trials, like my dad was like a intermediate, maybe advanced level rider, but I like surpassed him pretty early on. And after that, I didn't have anyone near me yet. I live in Denver, Colorado. It's dead heart in the city, probably worst place to grow up being a trials rider.
Yeah.
And I just had to watch YouTube videos. I had to just, I didn't really get to go ride with people. So I was a super visual learner. I just would watch and try and recreate that in the yard. Like sometimes it didn't pan out. Like some things I still can't do, but a lot of things I just learned by myself. So I think from just watching Josh being there, like especially in person, like the best way to learn is ride with someone better than you. Like,
100%. Yep.
Like even if it's humbling or almost embarrassing at times, you're gonna get better. Like it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why Josh got so good so quick. He was always the little brother always.
Yeah.
And growing up, his brother's Brian Roper. I'm sure you know him, and lots of people know Brian Roper. He rode Endurocross, also was pro trials rider. At one point, he was number 2 in the series, right behind Pat. So we had Brian. Once Brian moved out, his buddy Carl Davis Jr., another pro rider, moved to Arizona. So then Josh rode with Carl his whole life. And then Carl moved out. Then Daniel Blancanet, another pro trials rider.
So he was learning from all these people.
So he always had someone better than him. So he was excelling at like a crazy rate, which is something that like over in Spain, like they have the best trials riders in the world, like anywhere. But their country's so small. So all these little kids, they always get to ride with someone better than them because, a little kid could just be out riding on a day and there's Tony Bow at the same riding area, But in the U.S., our country's so big, we don't have those chances. Josh lives in Arizona. The Myers brothers live in Pennsylvania. That's 40 hours of driving for them to ride together. Spain, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that's why
I never thought about proximity like that. That's what led to a lot of it.
Yep. Yeah. So I got it was fun. I got to love the sport honestly even more because I started. Riding better. It's easier to enjoy it. You can actually do more cool things and feel better, on the bike. But and then stopped riding more because I started minding more. Josh started breaking more things, and my bike started turning into his bikes or whatever else to make it just to make ends meet. And then he got the gas contract, and I was still just like you could say contract mechanic minder for him. Like I didn't work for gas, but at the trials events I'd be in full gas garb and all that.
Yep.
But I didn't work for gas, and then I overheard they were looking for a mechanic. I was living in Arizona at the point, but I heard they were looking for a mechanic. But I'm like, oh, that's not my thing. Like I can't be a professional mechanic. I just work on trials bikes, But then Daniel Blancanet and Jeff Aaron, he was the team manager at the time, Jeff, they approached me and they're like, hey, like, how would you like to, come work for us? And even Tanner Tremaine, the current crew chief, he came to one of the rounds, him and Auntie. First time coming to a trials event for those two, which was really cool seeing them there. And Tanner immediately is like, you got to come work for us. I was like, no, I can't. And Tanner's like, no, you have to. I was like, no, I can't do that. So months go by, just me and Josh still doing our thing. And then Daniel he pretty much more or less put my resume in for me kind of. And then I get a call from Jeff and he's like, let's do this thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then did the interview with Auntie and Jeff, and I knew Auntie previously, so it was, more or less an easier interview.
Yeah.
But the thing they did say big time was like, most of your stuff will be dirt bikes, like West Coast racing and all that. And my only dirt bike experience, Josh and I did one endurocross race that year, and that was it. But that's just we just put graphics on the bike,
Oh, yeah.
So I get the job, and I was, super excited, but I was like, "Whoa, I don't know if I should be here. This isn't." But it was cool. At first, it was a big learning experience. Like I'd never built bikes from frame up. KTM and Husky were different from other manufacturers. We build our bikes from the frame up, all from parts. Like we have these huge, we call them lister drawers, all of parts. So we that way the mechanic touches every little thing. So if something does go wrong, it's on us.
What I mean. To back up, like, you don't start with a bike off the showroom floor.
No.
You literally start with a frame and go from there, from wiring harness, the wheels, the motor, everything.
Which it's a lot easier just tearing a bike down, because then you can just reverse it and put it back together. But
like what bolt goes where? Like, how do you even know from? Like I said, I take it apart and try to put it back together as quickly as possible, so I remember what all goes where.
Yeah, my very first day, I'll never forget. Tanner Germain, he was the crew chief at the time. He's like, all right, you ready to get going? I was like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I did all my paperwork, all the corporate stuff. We go get a frame and triple clamps, and he's like, "Okay, you good?" And walks away. I was like, whoa. I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Oh man, yeah. Where's the rest of it?
Yeah, I was like, what do you want me to do with this? This is cool to look at. But luckily, there's other mechanics in the shop. They were super helpful. Robbie's in there. Bobby Dawson, Nick Saylor, a bunch of mechanics were in there. So they all helped me in my first few builds. And the other thing that was stressful is I had Giacomo Renandi, who was my first rider. And he was the current Western Hare Scramble champion from the previous year. Oh. And he raced in 2 weeks. So, not only am I building my first bike, but now
it's your first big bike.
It's a number one bike. And
yeah, you got to put
racing
that big
in 2 weeks. I didn't even get to go testing with him or anything. We're just straight to racing. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, hey, can someone check what I'm doing over here? Like, give me a bolt check or Like, I can imagine, you just get the wrong length bolt in there a couple times.
Which is super easy to do, but
I can't imagine.
I wouldn't know any better. They show me a couple times, but you're doing so much and trying to think of so much. You're going to, I'm sure I messed up on a few things when I first started. I guarantee it.
Question. So I'm working on behind me. I've got an older TPI bike and a TBI bike, and the way they put everything together, just all the plastics different. So when they switch platforms for you guys, do they sit you down and talk about the way the new ones go together, or do they let you look at one, or is it just like, hey guys, figure it out?
Honestly, it's more or less just figure it out. When I first started Gas, they taught me, but now at KTM, if we get new things or whatever, we just sometimes they're just on our bench in the morning, and we're kind of like, okay, I guess this is what we're putting on now. We kind of figure it out. But
just the way the rear fender and the side panels go together is so different on the new 24 and up bikes. They've got little, which I like it because they've got little
all the rubber
screws that hold them in. Yeah, but and then you're like, if you're starting from scratch, how do you know what to do?
Yeah, honestly, it's a good question. Luckily, we haven't ran into any problems yet.
Okay.
But the KTMs and Huskies and Gascat, they're so simple and well built. They're pretty dummy proof, putting the plastics on, they really, you can tell if it's wrong. You put it on, it's like, okay, that's not right. there's only so many ways it can go. So at some point you're going to get it where there's other bikes I've worked on, like betas and stuff like that, and Shercos, like you can get them wrong, but they'll still fit. And you're like, oh, I guess is it.
Yeah,
like,
close enough.
Yeah.
All right. So back to you start with Gas, got a number one. I assume he's a West Coast. He was a GP rider, right?
Yeah, he did NGPCs and Western Hare Scramble.
Okay.
So he did the 2 series, so 2 race bikes. But also being Gas, we also had Coastal Racing Gas at the time.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
So at that time, I think it was Thad Duval and Ryder Lafferty, I think were the team riders. Yeah, it was just them 2. So I was also building all their practice bikes.
Oh, wow.
And then also we still have the trials team, which was at the time Daniel, Maddie, and Josh. Maddie Hoover, Daniel Blancanet, Josh Roper. So then I'm also doing that, and I'm also doing all the van driving for that series. Luckily, I didn't have to go to the races for Giacomo. I just build race bikes. He had his own mechanic come to the races. Then I didn't have to travel for GNCCs either. So that year was easier because I'm just doing trials, but you're building so many other things at the shop too with the trials bike. So the whole year I'm just flat out. A lot of time I'd come in on weekends just off the clock just because I wanted my shit to be done. I didn't want to come in Monday morning and be stressing. But that year was easy-ish.
What kind of time frame from like how long now if you said, all right, I got to build Trystan a race bike or practice bike, here's a frame, here's triple clamps. When is that thing rolling out to go get warmed up?
Well, now if I have everything, like say we don't have to wait on any parts, I already have my hydraulics built, stuff like that. Okay. I can have the bike. I could have the bike good to go at the end of the day for sure. You know,
okay. That's what.
Like a 7 to 5 day or something like that. Like that bike will be good to go. But when I first started, like that's like a, that's a week and a half, 2 week build right there.
Yeah. Just trying to find the bolts is the day, right? Yeah. You don't even know what you need.
If you don't know the parts room or any of that, like back at the old shop, we had a big parts room. I'd walk around that thing for hours just trying to find one part. It wasn't even in the parts room. It was like over here. I was like, oh, God, I'm an idiot.
Oh, man. All right. So, sorry, I keep interrupting, but all these questions keep popping into my head of like, golly, how long would that take? So that's pretty cool. And everything's nothing like working on a new bike or new parts and bolts and all that stuff. So, all right, so then you're doing that. You're traveling across the country. When do you get hooked up with Will and the hard enduro things?
So that next, I guess, fall, winter, I did enduro cross season with Taddy Blazuziak. I was his race mechanic for that.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. Taddy's a legend. It's pretty cool to say I wrenched for Taddy Blazuziak, which I guess you could say is kind of his end of racing career, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was pretty cool to, Taddy, he's an interesting guy to work with.
I can imagine.
Maybe I'll just leave it at that. But he is, he's Taddy Blazuziak. His name, everyone knows Taddy. So it's pretty cool to say. But then we finished with Taddy that fall endurocross season. We signed Will earlier in the year for the next year for Gas, hard enduro and endurocross. So started working on stuff immediately for photo shoot. We still had the trials riders. I think our GNCC team changed. I think we signed Jordan that year, but I think we still had Ryder, I'm pretty sure, Lafferty. So I think it was Jordan and Ryder, I'm pretty sure. Maybe the first year.
Yeah, maybe.
I could be wrong on Ryder.
Yeah.
So many bikes, I get kind of mixed up.
There's a whole bunch of red stuff. Well, my favorite thing about the gas before it folded was the head to toe red, the shoes, the hat. I'll just give Jordan, when Jordan was riding from him, I'd just show up and be like, dude, he's like, I know, man, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's free clothes and you're at work.
That's what I'd say. It's all those OGO bags and all those clothes. Hey, I'll take it, right?
So that's what Tanner always told me. You're at work. He's like, do you want to ruin your own clothes or do you want to ruin their clothes? I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Yep, fair enough.
Dress in the red, but man. So started with Will, and I was really excited about that because being a trials rider, I follow Erzberg, all that stuff. Like the hard enduro's, super close to trials, so I followed along so well my whole life watching hard enduro. So I was like super excited to go racing. Will's a young kid; he wants to, big ambitions, and he hard worker. So I was like super excited to get working with Will. He's a cool kid and the family's amazing. So we started at King of Motos and I'm pretty sure he won the prologue.
Oh yeah.
King of Motos. So I was like, boom. I was like, this is sweet. Like, here we go.
Let's go.
This is awesome. So did the whole Hard Enduro series, drove for all those, but I was still doing the trials events at that time.
Okay.
And we only had the one van for gas. So say we had a race in North Carolina, Battle of the Goats.
Yep.
But then there's a trials event in Kansas 2 weeks later. I'd have to drive the van all the way back to California, unpack, repack with trials stuff, drive out to Kansas, back to California, unpack, repack, and the next weekend or next couple weekends would usually be Roar. So then all the way back to the East Coast for Roar. So that year was rough. That was a lot of driving. I probably did, I don't know, maybe 6-7 trips across the United States of America, all by myself usually.
So what, podcast music, what gets you through?
Podcast, music, sometimes, once the morale gets so low, you just stare into the abyss, no music, just listen to the road.
That's bad. Energy drinks and just there in the tires.
Yep. But did that and did that. But it was a good year with Will. The only one that we both wanted to do super bad was Erzberg. But that year there was no budget to send Will or me. And KTM, they're a factory level team. So wherever their riders go, they're factory level riders. They want the mechanic to go too, so it looks professional. So it was kind of a bummer they wouldn't even let Will go on his own. But I understand, like, they want it to be professional. They want the mechanic to go, the bike to go, the parts, everything. So if there's not budget for it, then didn't work. So I don't think Ryder got to go that year either. I think Austria kind of gave them, like, they had to get third in the series at this race, and I think Ryder had to win at the next race, and both Will and Ryder didn't achieve that at that next race, so it was kind of shot down that year.
Well, so what's the plan this year? We going back to Erzberg? Trystan going?
Yep. Okay. Going back to Erzberg. That's Tristan's, he's achieved so much in his life. That's the one thing Trystan, he wants to win so bad. This year, better year than ever, really. He's super fired up, super, confident right now. No injuries or anything, knock on wood.
If we could keep the stupid little, the finger last year, they get a collarbone. Is that what he got?
Yep, collarbone.
I got a collarbone.
That one was really bad. But also Tough Like Roar and Sugarloaf schedule's a little bit different this year. Okay. So we can go over actually the week early and do I think it's called the tour or whatever.
The pre-riding of the course?
You pretty much get to pre-ride the whole course. So years previous with Sugarloaf, Trystan always has to, he knows the track so well now, but, Manny, Billy, and those guys, they've pre-rode almost the whole course for, almost a week.
Yep.
And now Tristan's coming in just cold turkey. It's with how well he does is, I feel like it's even more impressive not knowing the track. Well,
and I can't imagine going over there and it's different. I don't want to say different bike, but the bike feels funny. You don't have that week to ride the bike on that course. And like you said, as particular as you can be at that level of you need the bike to be what you want it to be. I can imagine that's almost as much of a detriment as pre-riding.
Yeah, for sure. And Erzberg is such a big event. And also just riding in Europe, I had a lot of experience with this with Josh. Like, I don't care how, even if you almost ship the same bike, you're over in Europe, the intensity is different, the people are different, the environment's different. Everything's going to feel different, even if it's the same motorcycle, which is a bummer because a lot of time we weren't able to go over like way early or anything. Yep. So then like everything feels off. You end up riding bad results, morale's low. So it's really big to get over there early, get used to it, get used to the food, like everything, Yeah,
that's another good one. Time change, jet lag.
Time change, all of it. It's all different. So if you feel comfortable where you are, you're going to feel comfortable during the race. And so this year should be real good.
That's awesome. Because, literally last year, I think we raced Sugarloaf on Monday. Erzberg was the following Sunday. So they had to be there. Yeah, they flew like all night. So I bet.
I left Sugarloaf straight from the race. I was still caked in mud. Like I'm sitting on the airplane, still muddy.
it was a mad dash. Like they were like, let's get podiums and get out of here.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I got about 15 more minutes. My kids apparently have to go do something I didn't know about today. So they're out of school. We had a big snowstorm. Luckily, we didn't get anything.
Oh,
so we got a little ice or a little bit of snow and ice. So we switched from PDS to linkage. I think the story is so it's a little more like the enduro cross bike. How do you like it? He did well. He still won. Any thoughts?
No, he actually really likes it. The biggest thing, when we first started testing it, we had a different skid plate on. I'd say this is the biggest thing. We weren't going to use SXS plates this year because our new sponsor is a Chirby's.
Okay.
So we were going to use all their stuff, but the Chirby skid plate actually has like a pretty good little notch in it for the linkage guard, which is super good coverage for most styles of racing. But for hard enduro, I actually never understood how important the slide plate was that SXS does. I just thought it was really good coverage and protection of that. But when we were first testing, Trystan actually ate shit 3-4 times because he got stuck on the linkage and high-sided where he usually would slide. So the biggest thing, once we moved to that, he was actually way happier because, he has noticed the linkage holds him up a bit in spots. Like, you can't really be lazy going over logs or anything now because you hit that weird little teeter point, the knuckle.
Well, that's if you look at a Sherco, the knuckle on the bottom of the shock is not near as far down as on all the Austrian bikes and a lot of the Japanese bikes, which is really odd. But, it's just like you said, it's something you got to be aware of, obviously.
Got to be aware of and something you got to get used to. I think he's getting more used to it, riding it more. When we were first testing, he kind of realized how lazily he would ride the bike sometimes, riding like medium enduro kind of, like just a hard trail, but usually he would just sit, just cruise it. But now he has that linkage and tailpiece hanging so low that he now realizes how much he would just sit and just cruise where things would hit there, but he has no linkage or tailpiece there, so he wouldn't even notice. It's just smashing the swing arm up. He doesn't care. He's just ripping the trail. But now that's hitting linkage and tailpiece, so he's getting boom, boom, bucked everywhere.
Feeling it a little more,
Yep. So that was his biggest thing he had to get used to, but he had no complaints from this race. He was actually super happy with the bike, and we tested at King of Motos for so long, so he better be happy with it.
Well, I heard Ryder was out doing some testing. I talked to him, and he said y'all ended up switching. They went with some suspension stuff and mapping and some injector stuff, riching the bikes up a little bit. That y'all both independently, him and Trystan, picked the same changes to the bike.
Yeah. So we've tested this stuff with Trystan before, but I feel like Trystan wasn't in. I think he didn't want to change. Tristan's just big on wanting to try stuff, and at that time he didn't like it. So then we didn't go with it. But then the things he's been asking for with the bike, we went back to it because we knew it would be better. So we tested again, and he was actually super happy with it. So we, new injectors, mapping for the injectors and stuff like that. A little bit of throttle body change, and higher compression head, stuff like that. He just wants the bike to be super, he wants to be able to pull third gear from dead stop on a hill climb,
Oh, yeah.
So that's super important, and we got that, which is cool.
Okay, what gearing? I heard him say what gearing. I don't remember what he said.
So we're 1251 right now.
Okay, so that's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For altitude, like Moab, I think last year we ran a 1252. We had to just go up one more, just because your higher altitude bike kind of rides kind of like a dog a little bit.
What about East Coast? Same? You think you'll run same 1251?
Yeah. The whole last year we were 1251.
So back to the linkage. Usually, like the Huskies and stuff, with the linkage, the seat height's a little lower, which for us shorter people with the PDS is higher. Has he noticed anything with seat height, or have you guys messed with it at all to get him more comfortable?
No, not really. I think we're running like 110 sag right now, so like sag hasn't really changed much or any of that. He hasn't really said anything about that. He's a pretty tall guy, so like that doesn't matter too much to him. For me, like a short guy, that's probably, my smaller legs, I'll probably like it better.
Oh, yeah. With PDS, I'm running like a 120, 130 sag just to try to get some feet on the ground.
Yeah.
So, maybe the switch to linkage would help. I just, like I said, the two things that keep me from wanting a linkage is shock change and freaking greasing the swing arm or the bearings down there.
Yeah.
5 more sets of bearings and all the stupid needles you got everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, the seals and stuff on those linkages are really good. So if you aren't just like holding the power washer straight to it, if you grease it when it's new, like you should be good for a long time.
Okay.
But obviously, East Coast riding is way different than West Coast, so you guys have to grease stuff way more than we do. But
just from a sheer, we pressure wash. We can't not pressure wash after riding, unless it's the summer and we're in a drought.
Yeah. So that's just part of it. If you live in a place that's wet, you're gonna have to grease stuff. It's part of it.
Yeah. So, all right. So race 1's done. He's won. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you guys? You said, I think before we hit record, you've already loaded up the Hawaii bikes. Is that the next race, or is there another one?
Yep. No, Hawaii is next. That's in I guess 3 weeks.
Okay.
I guess maybe like an exact month, maybe just under a month. He's out in Vegas right now with doing the hard enduro burrows shoot.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
With all those guys, so that'd be cool. Like I don't know, I think there's like 10, 15 of them all there.
Oh boy, cool.
So can't wait to see the carnage from that. See how the bike shows back up in my place.
When are you getting a phone call of I need more parts? Send
probably,
parts.
You know what? I don't know if they're riding today, but probably pretty soon here. I'm sure. Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't send him with too much, but I sent him with some stuff. So hopefully he's good.
All right, so I think I asked on our first podcast, what's the favorite place you've been for a race? Again, can be trials, can be hard enduro. Like I think you said Hawaii just because it's Hawaii, but again, because you've been all over the world with trials as well.
Yeah,
I guess with hard enduro too.
I feel like for my top has to be Kauai. Like it, I don't care who you ask, what sport, any event to get to go do your event in Hawaii of all places, but then Kauai has to be the coolest island out of all of them. They call it like the Garden Island. Like it's beautiful there, less tourists, more things to do, more hikes and everything, which for me that's big. The other one we did a Trials as Nations in Ibiza, Spain, which was really cool. Like the whole event was through the streets in the city and also on the rocks of Ibiza. And there's like yachts and everything parked up in the water watching us ride. So it felt almost like a Monaco type thing.
I was going to say, I had Monaco Grand Prix in my head when you say that, or F1, whatever it is.
Yeah, so that one was pretty cool to say that, get to say we rode trials in Ibiza. Almost no one gets to say that. So probably those two for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to run. Nigel, thank you so much for doing this again. I think it kind of worked out because we got to talk about King of the Motos.
Yeah, for sure.
When you go into Hawaii, you get to go out a little early or stay a little late, or what's the timing work out?
I keep not planning it very good, but last year my girlfriend and I, we stayed 2 days longer. We just told Timmy like, hey, I'm not coming home. Like I'm staying here 2 days longer.
Yeah.
Which maybe it'll happen again, but this time we're going over 2 days earlier just because Trystan wants to ride beforehand. Get a little more comfy, and we're coming for Huddy. We got to take the crown.
Yeah. Hey, you gonna put a bib in at all? You just gonna run a tire with some rim locks?
No, we'll put a bib in. There's so many creeks there. You still need a little cushion.
Yeah, a little something.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot because last year Huddy got him there.
Past 2 years, Huddy got Cody the year before.
Yep. So Trystan's coming for him.
Yeah, we got to take the local boy down, but Huddy. I mean, all those Hawaiians there are so strong. So trying to beat them, I don't care who you are, is an insane feat.
Well, I think Trystan said getting second was like a win.
Yeah, we were pretty good with that. We weren't mad.
Oh man! All right, Nigel. Well, thank you for your time. I will see you. Hopefully, I may be coming to Grinding Stone. I may be harassing one of you guys for a bike to ride around on. So hopefully there'll be some of those Hawaii bikes coming back.
Oh yeah.
But man, thank you for the time. Enjoy the day off, and
you too.
I guess hopefully I'll see you here in a few months.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
All right, see you guys.